Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing good, and thanks a lot for joining this talk. We are super excited, super pumped to listen to Kevin about his experience, expertise in building developer communities. He has been doing it for past 10 years, and he has delivered a lot of talks, and he's working as a senior developer advocate at Appsmith, which is really an amazing thing. And he's super experienced person to listen to him. Me and my team personally, we all are excited to listen to how he has shaped out developer communities and what is the secret sauce behind building successful developer communities. So without any further ado, I would like to hand it over to you, Kevin, and maybe
Sure.
you can just quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, totally. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm always thrilled to talk about building communities, about being part of them. I think that's pretty much the the primarily goal, being part of communities, building together. And I always remember one phrase that it was part of the Drupal community, which is one of the first communities I joined, which is you come for the software, but you stay for the community. And that's primarily the reason of the community is the support that you get from other people, is the human nature of contributing without thinking of what am I retrieving back, what am I getting back. It's
Mhm.
just helping because at the end we are a tribe, we are a community, and we want to, if you succeed in the community, we all succeed. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thrilled to talk about it. I'll share a little bit of my story and who I am on a
Mhm.
little presentation that I have prepared. So anytime we're ready, we can kick it off.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I prepare a little presentation to share a little bit of what I think it has been my journey during these 15 years working with communities, building communities, and what I have learned and what maybe you can share and you can learn about it for your own benefit. Before talking about communities itself, I wanted to start with um, a little action that you can take on your side, little activity. If you're watching this right now or you're watching afterwards, I'd like you to take your phone or open your browser on your computer and search for your name plus your field of work. So in my case, I'm looking for Kevin Blanco plus developer or Kevin Blanco plus cloud or Kevin Blanco plus developer relations. And if you're not showing up in the first results, then this session is definitely for you. Now, if you are showing up in the first results, then remove the last word you added. Let's say you added a developer, cloud, JavaScript, whatever your field is. Uh, then remove it. And again, if you're not showing up in the first five results, then again, this session is for you. Now you might be thinking, then is all because getting famous? Is this all because just getting good SEO ranking? No, it's because when you are contributing on a community, it actually stands out. I would like to also ask you a question, and if you're watching this live, you can put a comment in this comment section, or if you're watching afterwards, you can leave a comment as well. Have you? And don't be ashamed because I'll probably raise my hand when I'm gonna ask this question. Like, have you ever wondered like how the heck some people got to where they are? Like, how is this person in this position if I know more than him or her? Or how is this person getting this much of online attention, followers, if it doesn't even know what it's talking about? And sometimes, unfortunately, incompetent people get promotions, get attention, and I bet you are smarter than most of the people that you work around. And if you have ever feel that, you have that sense of how is this person in that position? I know more. I feel that I have more potential than this person. And it's nothing against that person. It's all about your potential. So the reason why this happens is probably because one of these three, or even a combination of these three key elements that I'm gonna talk about. The first one is that they leverage their network, their connections to get where they're. And this is not cheating. Network is an important part of the career and a community. Now, you don't join a community or you don't build a community just because you need a network so you become famous. It's the other way around. You help people in a very natural way. And that is going to help you build the stage for your next gig, for your next community, and to get support when you need it because you contributed back to people when they needed it. The second thing is these people are there because they have a really strong self confidence with strong minds. And there is this phrase that I particularly don't share. I don't like it, but is fake it until you make it. Now, I don't like it because it's not that you're going to fake what you know, or you're going to fake being famous, or you're going to fake contributing to people. I'd like to change it to you work it until you make it. You work, you try it, and you try, but knowing that your strong self confidence on the capabilities that you have and the willingness to contribute to other people is going to help you achieve it, whatever that is. And one key portion here is great communication skills. Normally, these people have the capability to generate empathy with other people. And communication is key when working on a company, when being part of a community, when being just helping people, communicating exactly what you want, what you can provide, and what capabilities can be achieved with the help you're going to provide. That's really key. And the other thing which is key is that they have a strong online presence through their blogs, videos, presentations, speaking engagements. In short words, they show up, and you can easily track their progress. You know, you can see what they're working on, their achievements. And let's be honest, degrees are pretty much useless in the tech field. Like the first thing a company or a HR person is going to do if they're going to interview you is Google your name and find you online and see what contributions you are doing. They don't care about your resume. Resumes are normally not the key differentiator when being hired by a company, and that's true. So your contributions has to be real and transparent. They have to bring value, and honestly, there are no shortcuts to this. You have to put the work over there, but trust me, it's worth it. So with that said, I'm gonna share my story. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but I think there's a valuable things in my story that maybe can help other people in their journey. This is me 15 years ago when I was handsome and thin, and I didn't have to spend uh, working sitting on a chair for a long time during my day. But this was my first time doing a speaking engagement. Let's say it that way. 15 years ago, I had no experience. I had no job whatsoever, but I joined a community. And at some point, they sent this message saying, we're looking for somebody who can go to this community. It's a little bit far away from downtown. And, if you happen to be there, you happen to have the capabilities to go and talk about Linux and open source. And I said, yes, I can do it. And probably I sucked. Probably that first presentation was really poor, but I did it. And that was my first time just showcasing to people what technology can do. So a little bit of my background on my story. I don't come from a family that has money. I don't come from a family that has connections whatsoever, because connections, like I said, are important. I come from a family that has no resources. We didn't have a house, a car. We had no land to maybe sell and be able to pay for my college or something like that. Like we had nothing. And I come from a developing country in Latin America. I was born in Costa Rica and I work from Costa Rica still. And I was not located in the place where technology happens. I was in a country that primarily sells coffee and exports bananas, and it's a very tourism country, but it's not a technology company, a technology country, sorry. And I didn't have access to technology. I didn't have access to a computer until I was on high school, where they had computers over there. By my mates, my friends in high school, they already had a computer in their houses. They knew how to use a computer. I remember when I was in high school, and they allowed me to turn on a computer first time, and they were showing how to use Microsoft Word. I didn't even knew how to use a mouse. I never used a mouse. I was cringe worthy me trying to just move the pointer to open Microsoft Word, and that's my true reality. So how does this person, with all of this, you know, context that was preventing him to be great, all of a sudden became this, traveling around the world, speaking about technology, being highlighted as keynote speaker on multiple sessions around different large conferences, being able to work next to the best engineers from Google, Microsoft, Nintendo, and being featured on multiple sessions and contributing back to developers. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story on how all of this happened, and maybe you can learn something from it and contribute back and build your own community as well. Because at the end, it all happened because I joined a community. I first contributed to a community, and then I took action. So a little bit of my journey. On 2009, I graduated from computer science from something called Technical Institute. It is not a university. It's a concept that they had in Costa Rica where you get your high school degree plus a technical degree on multiple fields. In my case, I did it um, on computer science and programming. So when I finished high school, I already had some knowledge around computer programming, basic mathematics, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, SQL, Java, all of the basics about computer science. And the natural step after you graduate from high school, at least here in Costa Rica, and I think that's the case in multiple places, is you go to a university. You go to a university and you get your computer science degree, your master degree, whatever, and then you get a job. But in my case, I didn't have that opportunity because, again, I came from from a family that had no resources, and unfortunately, the university costs, and I didn't have that money. So I had to find a job to pay for my university. So thankfully, in 2009, when I graduated, I got my first job as a junior developer on a very small shop, on a very small agency. I was actually their first hire, and obviously they hired me because I was cheap, but they saw on me something that maybe other people didn't have, and that was that hunger for learning, that hunger for growing, and that openness to receive feedback and contribute to the company. And so, thankfully, 2 years after, I got my first job working for a United States company called Mobiquity. They were located in Boston, and they were looking for somebody who was, building backend APIs for mobile applications. And I happened to had some experience during the 2 years that I worked on this company. I learned about Drupal, which is a content management system that is open source. And this company was looking for somebody who knew Drupal, who could work on the back end to expose some APIs. And I happened to have some knowledge over there. But it turns out that even in 2009, being just a new hire, just a junior person, I created a blog. I created a blog and I started to share my experience learning about Drupal. I didn't knew anything about Drupal. And I happened to create some articles about how to expose APIs, with Drupal. Drupal is a content management system that is monolithic. It doesn't really, it's not built for exposing APIs, but it had that capability. So we had that need in the agency. So I exposed and we built the front end and connected to Drupal via the REST API. But I wrote an article about it. And if I go back to that article, it's probably bad written. It's probably not the best article. But this company reached out to me because they saw my article and they said, not a lot of people know about Drupal and exposing REST APIs, and you seem to have some experience. Would you like to maybe, you know, uh, take this opportunity? So I interviewed with them, and they hired me. And I worked with them and for multiple agencies all the way to 2016 when I had a big milestone and I joined Nintendo, building websites for Pokemon and other video games, primarily landing pages and small HTML5 and Canvas small games for these video games landing pages. Then in 2017, I joined IBM Watson, building AI products. It was a big milestone for me. 2017, not really a lot of people care about AI. Not like now that everybody's just doing AI and everybody seems to love AI. Back then, nobody loves AI. Nobody really wanted to hear about artificial intelligence. And yes, it was very premature at that moment. And finally, 2019, I get a technical manager, technical director job on a large digital agency in New York City. And I was in charge of a large team of developers designing, developing, and maintaining cloud solutions for large enterprises, including Google. So, how the heck somebody from Costa Rica, a small town with no resources, ended up being a technical director of a large agency in New York City? Well, the response is because across these different job experiences, I always was part of a community. So when I got my first degree and I started working, I joined the open source community, like I showed in the first screen, in the first picture. And I started to contribute. I went to all of the events they had. I learned from all of those experiences and I made connections. Then, when I got my first job in 2011 as a Drupal full time developer, I joined the Drupal community and I contributed to that community. And I went to all of the events. They had monthly events. I was there just learning and making connections. Then in 2016, when I joined Nintendo, I was very focused on front end development, very focused on JavaScript, animations, and building front end experiences. So I joined the JavaScript community. Same thing, connecting with them, being very open about helping. When I joined the IBM Watson division, building AI products, I joined the artificial intelligence and machine learning community. And all of the communities that I could collaborate, not only here in my country, but also in other countries, maybe countries next to us. I joined the Panama AI and machine learning community, the Nicaragua, the Guatemala, all of these countries next to us. Uh, and I found the opportunity to visit some of these countries by contributing to these communities. And then in 2009, when I started working in designing cloud solutions, I joined the Google Cloud community. I actually became a Google developer expert in cloud, and I contributed back to, again, explaining how to build scalable, secure cloud solutions. And thankfully, all of that joined together because everything happened in parallel. Like I had my job, and on my free time, I was going to events, going to communities, everything. Nobody ever paid me a dime for these things. But thankfully, in 2023, I joined Appsmith as a senior developer advocate, and I'm a full-time developer advocate. Now I get paid for doing what I did for more than 11 years for free, building communities, educating developers, and helping them succeed and grow in their careers. Thankfully, I'm now an international speaker. I traveling from multiple events back to back. A couple of weeks ago, I was in the Google Cloud Next. I'm flying tomorrow to Miami for the Chief Conference, and I have a very tight agenda this year, thankfully, for different speaking engagements. And also, I get to do a lot of the things that I enjoy, which is producing videos. Part of my personal hobbies was always filmmaking, and I love films. And now I'm working on a place where I'm able to produce videos for education purposes and marketing and awareness and product led growth marketing. And that's great. That's amazing. Everything made sense now. When I look back, everything makes sense. But when I was on those communities, giving my free time, and spending my weekends over there, nothing makes sense. Like, why am I here? Giving away my free time. And everything makes sense now. So I just wanted to share some handy tips. What can you do in different stages of your career right now to be part of a community and build your own community and help you strive? So I'm going to divide it in three different sections, very broad sections. The first one is like, what if you are a student or a junior? Right now, if you're watching this and you say, I'm just studying right now, I don't have a job, or I've just joined a company. Let's say I'm in my first or second year working on a company, then I'm going to give you some handy tips. Or what if you're a middle, like you have been working for a company for maybe 3 years and you happen to have some experience now, you understand how technology works. Then I'm going to give you some tips as well. And how can you take that to your next stage? And what happens if you are a senior developer or a senior person in whatever you do? It doesn't matter if it's developing or databases or mobile development, like really doesn't matter what your field is. If you're a senior that you have a good amount of experience and you have been working on that for quite a long time, maybe 5 years, then this is some tips that I'm going to give you. So the first thing is like, if you are a student or a junior, what can you do? And my advice is join now. Do not wait. Find a community for whatever you love. Doesn't matter what it is. I bet there's already a community in your local area about whatever you're doing right now. It doesn't matter if it's AI, machine learning, JavaScript, HTML, whatever that is. There's a community over there for sure. And why are you going to join? It's just to be a sponge. You don't go there just to expose yourself, to be great. No, no, no. You go there just to be a sponge mode. And that's what I did. I go there and I was humble. I I was serviced, and I volunteered, and that's very important. Normally, these communities are looking for volunteers to help on those events. Somebody who can receive people when they're joining, somebody who can maybe bring coffee on lunchtime for the event. And I know that sounds like free job for these communities. Like you say, well, I'm doing job for free. Trust me, you're not doing it for free. You're building your own career and your own community around that. But you have to start, unfortunately, from there. The other important thing is that you find a mentor. Like it doesn't have to like openly be your mentor, like that person saying, I am your mentor now. No, no. I'm saying like find somebody who inspires you and follow that person's journey. Again, you don't have to openly say, oh, you are my mentor now, because that's going to be awkward and weird. But just, understand who in that particular community you find inspiring and follow that person's journey. Go to that person talks, watch those person's videos, get involved with that person, and then yeah, maybe build a connection with that person. Hey, I've been looking at your content, it's great, I'm Kevin. I'm trying to grow, I'm a junior person, but if you have any advice for me, let me know. And again, your perspective should be humble, service, and volunteer. Now, what can you do if you are a middle person? I mean your career, like you're not a junior anymore, but you're not a senior yet, or maybe you're just doing full-time work, like you're working right now as a full-time developer or a full-time backend database or whatever you're doing. Then this is what you can do, and this is what I did. um, Now you have some experience, that's great. Don't keep it for yourself. Focus on networking and propose sessions. Now, normally these events, these communities, they have the ability to bring people and propose for sessions. Normally that's named CFP, like call for papers. So try to find CFPs around you, like any event that you can propose and propose your sessions. And yes, they're going to be bad at the beginning. Yes, you're going to suck at public speaking at first. You're going to be nervous, but that's fine, because you want to build your own network. And again, focus on networking. If you were a junior or just joining a community, don't just go and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about this, because you don't have the experience. You cannot leverage that yet. Just be humble in service. But now you have some experience. You have been quite a while within that community. You can now expose yourself and say, hey, I'd like to make a presentation. I'd like to introduce myself to these people. Normally, these events, they have an afterwards networking space, maybe 30 minutes eating pizza or something like that. That's the moment where you go and talk. Don't stay in the back silently. And I know this might be awkward. I'm not a people person. Honestly, I'm not outgoing. I'm a very nervous person, honestly, but I had to do it. I have to go and speak to multiple people and talk to them after my presentations. That's part of my job, and I have to do it. But I'm not that person, but I have to do it. And so, if you're not that person as well, you have to think outside of the box, go outside your comfort zone, and talk to people. The second advice that I can give you is that we're living in 2025. Like right now, creating content is free. Start creating content, whether if it's videos, blogs, whatever that is. Start creating content and build your own style and voice. That's really important, because you will have something that people will differentiate you. If you go back to my YouTube channel, like if you're watching this right now, I'll share my link to my YouTube channel, and I leave my first videos over there because I want people to see how much I sucked. My first videos were bad quality, bad communications, bad voice, bad everything. But I started to live a my own style, and at some point, the glasses that you're looking at is really big part of my branding. Everybody knows me because of the glasses, and that at that moment it happened because I was doing it, because I spent a lot of time trying to think about what can be something that differentiates Kevin from other people. So yes, in the second stage is connecting, understanding your network, and helping them. And lastly, if you are a senior, what can you do? And in this particular section is you have to contribute back. You have to build your own network, and you can organize. Now, you might have done a couple few presentations. You have a lot of experience in your area. It's time that you contribute back. You help juniors who are joining in the first stage. That's very important. I remember the first time I had I was in a presentation. Sorry, I was part of an event. I was just an attendee, and I reached out to the person who made the presentation, and I told him, "Hey, I'm struggling to learn this thing, which was Ajax in Drupal. It was very complex at that moment for me." And he said, let's go outside and let's sit down with the computer and I'll help you out. He held me out for about 15, 20 minutes. And when I realized when I asked him who you are, he said, oh, I'm the chief technology officer of a large agency. And there he was, very openly, just helping a junior person, a very young person who was willing to receive everything that he could to grow. And he didn't thought about exposing him or saying, "Oh, I'm a big guy. I'm the chief technology officer. I'm the CTO." No, no. He just went there, helped me for a few minutes, and then we connect each other, and he moved on his life. But that's great. That's what you have to do if you're a senior. The service is your primary focus. So all of this sounds great. You might say, you go back, contribute to a community, and then it will pay off. And you will get a better job with high pay salary and travel across the world. Well, that's not always the case, but there's an important caveat that I want to share because I've seen people do the same thing I have done, and they have yet get there. And it's very important that you have these three things. The first thing is you have a strong determination, vision, and positiveness. You don't complain. You go to these events and you try to help, and you're a people person. You just try to bring value and say, how can I help? And be an open person. You don't come with strong thoughts and fighting other people, because I've seen people like that in communities, and unfortunately it destroys them. You have to be open to hear other people's thought, be positive and resourcefulness. Try to help as much as you can, and be really transparent about your contributions. Because if you just do it because you know you're going to receive something afterwards, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So I'm going to give you some homework. If you're watching this right now, I'll give you some homework. Based on whatever the stage is that you are, based upon the stages are shared, junior, middle, or senior. I want you to take action based upon the actions that I share. And maybe at some point share your results with me. I'm open to give you free 15 minutes mentorship in whatever your stage is. You can tell me, hey, Kevin, I saw your presentation. This is what I did. I joined this community. What can I do now? What can you tell me about my next stage should be? What should I do? And I offer you free 15-minute mentorship for free. Um, and so, lastly, this is me. Let's connect. I'd love to hear from you. You can find me on Twitter as Kevin Blanco Z, on YouTube, the same, Kevin Blanco Z. And I'd love to connect on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. That's where I'm mostly sharing every day what I'm doing. And also my website, kevinblanco.dev. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much. And I don't know if there's any questions or any close up words.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. It was really an amazing talk. Learned a lot of things. It just took me back to my college days when we started this community Tech Thrusters,
Yeah.
and it was really like relatable of what you mentioned. People come there for the maybe programming language or something like that, but stay for the community because
Right.
indirectly, while we are building a community or while we are contributing to any community, indirectly we are getting in some or the other valuable things. In our case, it was like we got to know about a lot of hackathons and opportunities out there.
Hmm.
In other terms, like we were able to build our own personal brand through the community, which you mentioned is really an important aspect of in this job market, or maybe while you're doing a job search. I've seen a lot of success stories of people who have got landed jobs just because of their good personal brand and that they have been visible all over the internet.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah,
apart from my first job, I've never interviewed for a position. Like every new job that I've got is because somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, Kevin, I met you on this presentation. It seems that you're really good at what you're doing. We have this position. Would you like to apply?" And yeah, that sounds interesting. Or no, sometimes I'd say no, but yeah, apart from the first job, which was really hard for me to find because I did had no experience,
yeah,
all of the next jobs it has been like that, and it's because I've been there. I've been sharing my thoughts online, and it's free. You can open your own blog in Medium or Hashnell, whatever. All of these tools are free. And unfortunately, with the AI boom now, everybody can create content with AI. I will advise, if you're going to start your blog, do not use AI. Be very personal, like be your own, because people enjoy your own style. Like I have my
yeah.
newsletter, And my newsletter, I never use AI, not because AI is bad, but because people seem to enjoy the way I talk and my bad jokes,
Yeah.
etc. And unfortunately, AI doesn't have my voice, like all everything that I have lived through. There's no AI that knows all of that. My personal
Hmm.
experiences, my pains, and I use all of that as a joke sometime. And if you're gonna do that, like maybe in the future you can use AI, but right now I will say if you want to build your own brand, your own
Hmm.
story, and your own voice, just be yourself. Like people seem to enjoy that, and trust
Yeah.
me. But what I shame you, like things that make me shame, it's actually things that people seem to connect and have empathy about because they have lived something similar to the things that I've lived.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Once again, thanks a lot for delivering this amazing talk. And I really will encourage a lot of students and everyone in the tech journey or tech field to do take a look at this video and maybe they can learn something new.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
watching this right now, connect with me, send me a message, and yeah, thank you so much for the time.
We have
And
a last question, Kevin, if
sure,
you would be fine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm working for full time now and struggling to find time and energy to contribute to communities.
yeah. This is a reality. Like right now, it's hard. It first of all, the job market is complicated right now. But what you can do is maybe not contribute physically on an event because I know that takes time. Like let's say going to an event on a weekend is, you have to get money to pay for a taxi or a bus to get there and bring your own food, whatever, and that maybe you might not have that money. That's fine, but you can contribute by writing an article. I always said, like, who cares about what I have to say? There's multiple people writing online. Why am I special? What makes me different to them? But yet I still created my own blog, and at some point I realized, like, what the hell, there's a lot of people reading my stuff and I don't even know why. I'm just enjoying the process. I'm just writing what comes to my mind. So I will say my advice to you is, if you don't have time to join a community and be going to an events and be present, maybe going to a hackathon, like those are so normally one full day or even 2 or 3 days, start writing. Maybe create a small video on your phone that takes 5 minutes. Hey, today I'm working on, I don't know, Redux sagas, and this is what sagas are. And for me, it's great because X, Y, and Z, and it's bad because X, Y, and Z. What are your thoughts on this? Are you using Redux sagas? Are they bad? Are they good? And just put that video online. It takes 5 minutes to record that. It doesn't have to have music and editing and transitions. Like, it just have to be you, and that takes 5 minutes. Also, writing a blog might take 15 to 30 minutes, and you can do it once per month. And at some point, you'll realize, oh, people are reading this stuff, and maybe they reach out to you, like it happened to me when I wrote an article, which it wasn't the biggest article, but it reached out one guy, and he said, "Hey, Kevin, I'm writing a book, and I'm using your article as a reference in my book. Is that fine?" And I said yes. And all of a sudden, I realized the article had like 5 million views because people bought the book and saw the reference on the book, and they went to the full article to see the full the full explanation that I did. And it was a very simple article on how to expose REST APIs in Drupal. And again, it happened like that because I took the liberty to do it, and at some point it pays off. So yeah, if you don't have time, just start like that. A 5 minute video, a 15-minute article, and maybe if at some point you have time and maybe some energy, you can go physically to events. But for now, just maybe do that, and that'll be great.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin. And yeah, have a good rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Thank you. See
Thank you
you.
very much. Take care, everyone,
Bye.
and let's connect.